Hey guys, all right, so I'm reading this book like I told you, and I'm not like rush reading it. I'm literally thoroughly breaking down each section that I'm reading. So one of these things, because I always tell people about this section that I'm in. So it basically says dating is not the goal, and that had me thinking about how people think either dating is the goal or getting married is the goal. And I think that's where a lot of people get it wrong, and which is why I feel like a lot of marriages don't really work. Because you're dating, like, okay, so a lot of people, like, let me put it this way. You have your goal list, right? You put your vision board up, or you put your goal board up, or wherever you want to call it, and then you say, by June 2020, I want to buy a car. And then by August 30, like, you're basically putting a goal. You're putting it as a goal, and you don't really understand that marriage or dating is not the goal. And that's why people rush into stuff. They like, oh, I want to be, married with kids by the age of 30. And I feel like that's very unrealistic for somebody to do. And I think that's why oftentimes you end up rushing just to try to get your goal, and you're in love with that person. And then you realize, like, you don't really like this person after you've been with them for so long, but it's kind of too late because you got kids with them. But I really feel like that's a concept that was adapted that people have to stop. Stop thinking that you're supposed to be this way because society tells you by the age of 30, something wrong with you if you're not married. Like, I really feel like that's a bad concept. And then you wonder why you end up with basically Jack the Rabbit, because you rushed into something that you were not mentally ready for, or that you seen as the ultimate goal. And I think that's where people get the wrong concept. Dating is not the goal. Or people think marriage is the goal. Marriage is not the goal. The bigger goal is staying married. And this is why it's important to get with somebody who is equally yoked with you. Because if you're dating somebody who doesn't understand your moral values, or who goes against it, it's not going to get better. It's not something you can brush underneath the rug and like, oh, we can work on that later. Like, because he's so fine, or because he got more zeros in his bank account in the back than the front. Like, you have to stop looking at that. And I think that's a negative aspect that people basically try to focus on in life is, you're dating for the wrong reasons and you have the wrong intentions. You're trying to please your mom, or you're trying to please your dad, or you're trying to put on this facade for other people. So you're trying to date and you end up miserable. Because you put it as a goal, you didn't really pray about it, you act on your own instincts, and then you end up screwed. And then you always be like, oh, why is the world so against me? Or if your husband always cheating on you after you get married because you didn't have the time to really get to know him, or you were just so set on getting married by 30 and having kids, and you end up with somebody who basically can screw over your life. And that's why I have to stress the importance that dating is not the goal, marriage is not the goal. Being equally yoked is the goal, and working through God and praying together. And it's important to have somebody who knows and understands you, your moral values, and the importance of having God in your marriage. Actually, that should be first. The importance of having God in your marriage, being equally yoked, and then your moral values. That is extremely important. Extremely important. I can't stress it enough. So if you don't learn anything from this today, all I'm saying is do not date without knowing if that person is right for you. Dating is not the goal. Marriage is not the goal. Finding the right person that is right for you, no matter what age. Because you have to be physically and mentally prepared for that person. Because when I often tell people this, if you're not ready to stop being selfish, don't get married. I think I'm going to put that on a t-shirt or something. If you're not ready to stop being selfish, and it's okay to be selfish, because once you get married, and then on top of that, if you want kids, you add kids to it. I'm a living witness. Like, I really had to learn certain things with my husband, and I'm still learning. God bless his soul and mine too. That some people are not meant to be parents, or some people don't know how to be parents because they didn't have that proper, what is it called? Guidance or something, whatever you want to call it. They didn't have that proper view from their childhood, so they don't know how to be a proper parent. Or, their parents would always just leave them and then up and do what they got to do. So not everybody's fit to be a parent. So this is why I think it's oftentimes it's important to understand somebody. And I want to emphasize this. The five love languages, I'm gonna start reading that, but I kind of know what the book is about, but I wanted to reread it again. I suggest you get that book along with this book. It goes side by side with each other, in my personal opinion, not nobody else's. But this book, like I told y'all before, this book is a very good book. And it's really, like, I'm towards the end, but it's just so much in this book that I know for a fact that I'm gonna reread this like at least 4 or 5 times. And along with the book written by Gary, The 5 Love Languages. So guys, just pray. Just pray. Let God lead your heart. Stop trying to rush before God's timing. And stop screwing yourselves up, because a lot of things could be prevented if you would stop rushing or stop trying to put a facade on for other people. So, see y'all later.